We're going to talk for about 20 minutes, then open it up for questions at the end. So OpenStax, if you're not familiar, they're a nonprofit out of Rice University. They publish textbooks for all the high enrollment courses for first and second year college students. So math, science courses, quite a few science now. And what we're going to talk about today are the math courses that we have in Varsity. So all of the courses you see here, other than the business stats, is in Varsity Learning. And I'll talk about what that means a little bit and how we're integrated. So first, I just want to talk about these books and what this means. What is OpenStax? Well, OpenStax, like I said, is a nonprofit, and they publish open source textbooks. So what is an open source textbook? It's a textbook that is openly licensed, has authors. The ebook is available on the OpenStax website either as a PDF or as their web version. You're welcome to use any of these. You don't have to use Varsity Learning. You can just use these in your class right now. And so they have quite a number of open source textbooks in their library now, and they're used by millions of college students. And it's really a new thing. They've only been around since I think 2011 or 2012. And in that time, they have most of these books now, particularly this Precalculus book, the Calculus series, probably the top 3 in their categories in the college market. So they're not focused too much on the high schools. They're just starting to be focused on the high schools. Most of their high school products are slight revisions of the standard books. So the high school stats book is a slight revision of the college level introductory statistics course. I think there's some group projects in there. This is one book we don't completely have in Varsity right now, but we're getting there. So OpenStax, completely free to use, no login required, and we are a partner. So if you click on any of these books, there's instructor resources. You can integrate with some of these other LMSs, Blackboard and Canvas. And then they have a lot of partners. And Varsity Learning is owned by XYZ Homework, and XYZ Homework is a partner. If you'd like our paid content, you can use XYZ Homework, although Varsity Learning is basically the same content, and it's free. So all these partners for OpenStax textbook make them much more usable for the instructor and the student. So what does that mean? Well, Varsity Learning, we're an online homework platform, and we have coded questions and built assignments, online homework assignments for all of those OpenStax textbooks. So let's take a look. So I've logged in as an instructor to my account. I'm going to create a new course, and I'm going to copy from a template course. And now these templates, we have a choice. We have the traditional Varsity Learning courses, and we also have the OpenStax courses. So I'm going to use an OpenStax. Let's use the OpenStax Algebra and Trigonometry. This is like This is a course after Algebra 2, very similar to the Precalculus class. I'm going to submit this. For those of you who would like and are logged in, we've got a nice round course ID. It's course ID 6500. So anybody who would like to enroll in that, you're welcome to. You're welcome to enroll in that course as a student. So I'll enter the course. See right away it's populated. There's a calendar. There's a link to the OpenStax ebook. When they open this, it's the XYZ Homework Edition. That means if you're an XYZ Homework customer, you can ask for us to customize this book for your school. We're not doing much customization with Varsity right now. We're planning that for next summer, though, summer of 2021. Here's a table of contents for the book. I don't know if you can tell from the webinar, but this is a PDF of the textbook. This is a printable PDF. So you're welcome to print it. Your students are welcome to print it. It's just part of the open source licensing agreement. Odd answers in the back, just like you'd expect. So how does Varsity Learning make this template better? Well, we have questions coded and built into assignments for every section of these textbooks. In case you're following along at home, I'm just going to change the dates so nothing's past due. I just created this template, so I need to set some dates here. Let's have this open yesterday. Do it week. Maybe open this. Okay. So now if you're logged in as a student, you should be able to do 2 chapters worth of assignments from the calendar. So let's take a look. Chapter 1, Prerequisites. This is meant to be review material. If you're just starting a class, maybe at the high school level, you want to use this at the first week or so, see how your students are doing. So within each block, so this is block, and a block is just where we store stuff in Varsity Learning, and we've made each chapter have its own block. And so the blocks contain, this is an ebook link just to chapter 1 if you don't want to download the entire ebook. And then here's the assignments for every section. You notice that we also have video lessons in here. So if students want to watch these videos, or you can play these in class, they can watch them when they get home. These are just links to YouTube, and you have complete control over removing these if you want. If a student clicks on the title, they're taken, a new website will open, or a new tab in your browser will open, and it'll go to YouTube. If they just click on the plus sign, the video is going to open directly in Varsity Learning, and no one's going to have to go to YouTube. The video is going to play right here. So all these videos are, or at least most of them, are created by James Souza in his mathispowerforyou.com website. These also are openly licensed, and he's made just a ton of these videos, and they're really high quality. So we linked as many as we can. Okay, so let's look at an assignment in Varsity Learning. Let's look at polynomials 1.4. So section 1.4 in this course is the same as the section 1.4 in the OpenStax textbook. So these questions are going to be very closely aligned with those questions in the book. So there's a simple identify the degree of the polynomial question. Students also can click on a video here. It's going to pop up in a new window, and they can see a video on how to do this. And there's probably going to be a written example also. Probably not a great problem for an example. So to enter a degree, the way the settings are is that every student gets 3 attempts at this question. After the 3rd missed attempt, this system will show the student the correct answer. And if there's a detailed solution, it'll show them the solution also. So still on question 1, we can now try another similar question.
Can we
and the
ask
system
questions?
generates a new question here. Same idea, probably a different answer, same steps to solve. Student can then submit their answer, and that grade's going to be submitted. It's going to be shown in the gradebook right away. So that's really the heart of Varsity Learning, is this algorithmic. And we've paired Varsity Learning with the OpenStax textbooks. So now, instead of just having assignments that are built from a generic Algebra 1 course, we have actual textbooks that are used many of the colleges and universities in the US, paired with these assignments, and these are full-blown courses now, especially for online learning. So we have assignments created for every section in the book. Some of them even have, or most chapters even have a chapter review. We have forums linked. Forums are great if you haven't seen that. We did a webinar just on forums. So quadratic equations, great questions for algorithmic engine. Getting this one wrong, right? We get 3 attempts. If we're having trouble, we can always post a question to a forum. So we have forums set up for every chapter. So every assignment in chapter 2 is going to get posted to the chapter 2 forum. As a student, I just posted this question. If I'm a student, I can just say, please help. Now I'm going to post this. So everybody in class knows that question number 1 in assignment 2.5 has been asked. It's going to have the student's name here, not my name. And then we can take a look. You can see that the system's going to format that question just right. By the way, all the math in Varsity Learning is ADA compliant, so it's zoomable. So if you're showing this in class on the overhead, you can zoom in on the question so the students in back can see it. So now we've asked this question for help. Now the students can answer each other's questions, or you as the teacher can also answer these. Hit reply here. So the benefit of this is now everyone's going to see the reply. This is going to be an ongoing thread. Hopefully it's going to gain a lot of attention from your students. Now anybody can post format text here. You can attach a file. So if you want to write this solution out by hand, take a picture of it, create a PDF, you can upload that file. You can link to another website or upload an image if you just want to take a picture with your camera and you haven't figured out how to have your phone go to your computer. You can upload your image here. And then we also have some math tools to make it even easier. So if we want to communicate mathematically, really easy to enter math calculator style. That line's doing that. Move this down a little bit. And the math is going to show up just like you want it. There's also a little graph editor. Very easy to add a graph to the discussion. Add a second curve if you want. And so you can see if you took the time to post a reply to the student, an actual solution to this, everybody in the class would have the benefit of seeing it. Somebody else could reply to that post. Students can reply to each other's posts. So it starts a whole discussion. And students are very comfortable with the forums. This is what they're doing on social media anyway. They'll log in just to see how many people like their post. And then when I was teaching, I would post these in class the next day when they had questions about their homework. We would just look at the forums on the overhead. So forums, these are integrated with every section of the book. And every forum links to a full chapter. So now when we're paired with the OpenStax textbook, you can see that this is really going to be a very useful addition to your class, most likely. Let's see, there's a question. Yeah, so the OpenStax textbook. So first of all, within your Varsity Learning account, we're going to have the XYZ homework version of these textbooks. So the link is right here. Go here, there. To go to the OpenStax website, it's just openstax.org. And this is their website, openstax.org. Type that in chat. So all these books are completely free. They're open source. Hope that answers that question. Let's see. So back in here, working on this problem. Oops. I think I logged out. Okay, so let's look at my roster, see if anybody's enrolled. Kendra's enrolled, great. There she is, Kendra Varsity Learning. Let's look at the gradebook. So 1.1, looks like Kendra's done a few questions. So as the teacher now, I'm looking at a student's answers here. So got this one correct. We can see the average time on task for this student. If they took more than one attempt for a question. The class average, there's not enough data for that right now. But you can see every student's going to get a different version of this problem, so it's important that when you look at a specific student's question, you can see which question they received and then how long it took them to submit it. Sometimes there's a detailed solution, so you can see that as well, and also show the answer if they get them wrong. Okay, so that's a full grade book. We've done the setting dates previously, but real quick, this is a calendar. Students can work from the calendar here. You can set dates for mass change dates very easily. You can just check the box, the assignments you'd like to change. You can have a start date, that's the date it becomes available to students, and the end date, this is the due date. So very easy to make these changes here, just with the little calendar icon here. You can move these a couple days, save those, and now you can see those two assignments are due here. The colors are just automatic, and they're like a stoplight. Yellow means these are going to be due fairly quickly. Green means they have a little bit more time. Gray indicates that students can't see this assignment yet. So if I was to look at my student view, this is what the students are going to see. So you can see they can't see anything in 3.1 or chapter 3 at all. Go back to the instructor view, and now I can change this. Let's see. I can go to the big calendar, and I can enable drag and drop editing. So now I can have assignments due. Here's my 1.1. Maybe I want to have this due last Sunday in 1.2. I apologize if everybody's working on those right now. I just want to show this. Okay, go back into this assignment. Now these are gray because they're past due. These were due here. They were due Sunday. That's why they're showing up in the calendar Sunday. The students can still see those though. So let me show you the late passes. So if you're a student in this class, let's go to a roster, and I'm going to manage late passes. I'm going to have late passes extend the due date by 72 hours, and I'm going to give every student 5 late passes. So now if one of the students in the class want to click on 1.2, they can use a late pass to do it, and they could be able to do that assignment. If they just click on the assignment in review mode, they're not going to be able to use a late pass. And if they do that, they're going to have to email their teacher. Their teacher's going to have to clear their score in the gradebook. Okay. So that's kind of a brief overview of both Varsity Learning and the OpenStax. It's a great time to open it up for questions. So please go ahead and ask. Let's see, I can. So you'll feel free to ask a question either in the chat or
Can I ask
just
question?
ask, or unmute yourself and just ask.
Yeah. Oh, the question is, when I try to go to OpenStax.org, we didn't have these options that you have up here. How we get students work to check and all.
Questions about the OpenStax?
Yeah, I went
books.
over there.
Just OpenStax.org. They're completely free to use.
Yeah, and I got to calculus. I'm teaching calculus, and I'm looking at the book.
These are going to be a little more user-friendly. The OpenStax versions, the OpenStax method is to publish these web first, so their PDFs aren't quite as easy to use. So if I was to look at the OpenStax PDF version, I just want you to be aware of this.
The PDF version.
So they should be word for word identical. The OpenStax version has a little bit different layout and design to it. And then the problem sets, because they go web first, so the start of section 1.5 problem set starts with number 343. The Varsity Learning version is going to start every problem set with number 1. So that's why we've gone to the work and retypeset these in our own format. They're going to be much more useful. We have a real odd answer section in the back as well. And then for our XYZ homework customers, we do a lot of customization for these books. So for those of you not familiar with these college level courses, pre-algebra is basically the same in high school and college. Elementary algebra, a little bit lower level than Algebra 1, but pretty much equivalent. Intermediate algebra is like Algebra 2. And then Precalculus is like Precalculus. The only difference between this Precalculus book and the Algebra and Trig book is that this book has 2 prerequisite chapters at the beginning. Otherwise, they're just about identical. I guess Precalculus has a chapter on limits at the very end. So this book has limits, and this book has 2 chapters at the beginning. Otherwise, they're the same. And then the calculus are
sign up for these
widely
books?
used in college, probably on the hard end, but certainly going to have all the content you need for a regular high school level calculus or an AP calculus course. The statistics course is also on Varsity. Okay. Any questions on this? Kind of talking about the books here. Might have rambled on a little bit. Happy to answer your questions.
I can't find the chart that you have on the screen that you're sharing the screen with us.
So where do you need to sign up for the books? So when you start a Varsity Learning, when you request a Varsity Learning account here, you have access to all of the Varsity Learning templates and all of the OpenStax templates we have here. So these are all available for you. Then you can mix and match as well. So if you'd like and you're interested and you get somebody else in your department that's also interested, we're happy to help get you set up with a private webinar. We can do these one-on-one or with a department, kind of figure out what your needs are. To do that, just give us an email at support@varsitylearning. Here. Any other questions? I didn't hear any questions. I'm sorry, go ahead. Well, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate your time today. I hope you got your questions answered and you learned a little bit about the OpenStax, and you might be on board for some open source textbooks in your class in fall. Thank you so much.